What's finally happening to where you're actually seeing Tucker, Fuentes, Megyn Kelly, Candace becoming who they always were, not conservatives. We've got disturbing statements from every one of them, stating the exact opposite of what they said they were going to do. They're no conservative. And to be honest with you, they're getting debunked every day and people are still listening to them. Today we're going to discuss what they said and how it's a direct attack on the Trump administration and conservatism. We may not like all the people with R's behind their name. Definitely, I understand that completely. I do not like rhinos, I understand. But ultimately, you are promoting the other side. That's what's happening. We're going to discuss that. Also, we're going to talk about medical assets. We're going to talk about how AI technology and smart technology is now taking away from our privacy in a whole new way. Wait till you hear this new disturbing story. When people are wearing these glasses, what is it actually seeing? It's seeing a lot more than you think, and then people are hacking it, and then they're blackmailing you using AI. We're going to discuss that because that is some creepy stuff happening. Wait till you hear these stories. And then lastly, we're going to discuss the release of the files. Wait, we haven't talked about that lately, have we? Well, here's another thing we need to pay attention to. It's funny how all the Democrats and even the rhino Republicans and even the Republicans are out there wanting to release the files, but they just voted not to release their own files. See, what we don't realize, well, some of us do, but what we don't realize for the majority is that there's a slush fund that pays for the harassment charges of Congress. And we just voted overwhelmingly not to release those files because we want to keep it closed up. Isn't it funny how those same congressmen who want to expose all these people want to keep theirs quiet? Sinister evil all around us. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, please, we ask that you subscribe to the channel. We have about 40% of our audience watching that are not subscribed, so we would just ask that you would please subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up, it means the world to us and helps us spread our message across this platform. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about comments made. Now, I think you should all go back and watch Tucker Carlson's, and I'm not promoting him, but I do believe that you should see this new, what he considers this religious battle or this religious war that we're facing, dealing with he did commentary on the Israel-Iran situation. Now, I agree with the fact that this is a spiritual battle. This is a spiritual war. I believe that. I don't believe in the same context he does. The same people that he promotes are the same people that is now siding with us. So Qatar, that he's so in bed with, is actually coming alongside helping Israel. Did you hear me? So the same people that he's promoting is also going against Iran, Qatar, who is against other Muslims. Also, did you know that Iran bombed into Palestine? Did you know that? See, you're not hearing these stories, but see, this is where you have those blurred lines with conservatives using what they want as talking points to ultimately just cause harm to Trump. First, let's go to Tucker Carlson, then we'll talk about some of the others. Tucker talked about how this is, it's not biblical at all to talk about the third temple. Well, has he read Revelation? I mean, to be honest with you, it talks about the third temple bringing in end times, bringing in the Jewish state, the New Jerusalem. We know all that. Remember, there's going to be a time where the Antichrist comes in and builds starts the temple, and then all of a sudden, 3.5 years later, tribulation, all that. I mean, you can go in depth on the Bible stories here. But what he's got such a arrogance about him that he honestly believes that he is correct in his theology. Now, do I believe that everyone in their own theology is perfect in perfection and knows exactly what the Bible states and what it means? No, we are all, we're all imperfect. That's why we have a perfect Father and we have a omniscient Father. He knows all. But the thing is this, we have to realize that what Tucker is doing is kind of like what James Tallarico is doing for the Democrat senator nominee for Texas. He's using scripture or using this, quote, religious talk and misspeak to then make you believe that you're wrong in your beliefs. Now, he goes and targets all these Christian preachers like John Hagee or Locke or Huckabee. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't criticize anyone, but I am saying this, is the same people that you're promoting are working alongside us now. The same people that you're going against is basically what Tucker is doing is he is vouching for the Iranian people. No, you missed it. He's vouching for Muslims in general. Like he had this big, talk about the Dome of the Rock and how it's so special and how it's one of the biggest religions. We should honor it. Bull. It was a complete and utter mistake that the Israel prime minister at that time gave pieces of Mount Moriah or the part of Jerusalem that we're talking about here to the Muslims, because now it's been a fight ever since. We have to understand that this is a spiritual battle. But saying that we're not going to join it, that's unbelievable. Everyone's going to join it. Is this World War III? Is this the end times? I don't know. But to speak definitive like Tucker's doing, and so arrogantly, to think that he is on the right side of this, I have a problem with it. He's now targeting Jared Kushner, Ivanka Trump, and even Donald Trump. Now, he won't say Donald Trump. It's amazing to me how much of a backbone he's missing and spineless he is, because truthfully, he doesn't like Donald Trump. But he won't say it out loud. He will beat around the bush to tell you how bad he is, but he won't actually say his name. He'll say it's the people in the White House, the Susie Wiles, the Pam Bondi. I agree, they are terrible. But he will use that and try to basically insinuate that Trump's really the problem when it comes down to it. He's been sold out. Now, he's talking on that speak. Now we have Nick Fuentes coming out stating that he will vote Democrat this next election because the Republicans need to fall. Now, I don't agree with John Cornyn. I don't believe that John Thune's a good person. I don't think Mitch McConnell's a good person. I don't think Lindsey Graham's a good person just because they all have R's behind their name. However, they're a whole lot better than Jasmine Crockett. They're a whole lot better than Gavin Newsom. They're a whole lot better than Ro Khanna. Now, I don't like a two-party system. I get it. I understand all that. But that is the hand that we've been dealt. It's amazing. It's kind of like we're playing a game of cards and they give us a whole deck of cards or give us our set. We may not like the hand we've been given, but we can't be like, well, we fold, give me another one just for the heck of it. No, we have to play the hand that we're dealt. Don't like it. I'm not justifying it. I don't like Murkowski, don't like Collins. I don't like none of them. I wish they'd all go away. But you know how we get them to go away? You don't vote Democrat. You vote their primary, and you primary these people, and you get them out of office. Ken Paxton's trying to do that in Texas. Watch. John Cornyn will get endorsed by Trump and will get endorsed by John Thune, because what Trump is saying is, I got to have the SAVE Act, and John Thune is probably holding that, and so is Mitch McConnell, because it's all one big party and we're not in it. We don't like the cards we've been dealt. But hopefully Trump will have this conversation and say, if we put Cornyn back in, then I'm going to put Ken Paxton as AG, or I'm going to put him in my administration, or we're going to make sure the SAVE Act is passed. I don't know what the negotiation is. But ultimately what we have to realize is Nick Fuentes talking about now voting Democrat, telling his people he's voting Democrat. So if he's got a million, plus watching, weekly or daily, think of the people now he is impacting for the younger community who was moving towards more conservatism is now moving towards liberalism. Charlie Kirk would have never said that. So if Tucker Carlson hitting on Christians and Jews and promoting Muslims, I mean, the whole video, he's promoting Muslims. Never spoke bad about a Muslim person, but spoke terrible about these so-called quote-unquote Christians and so-called quote-unquote all these Jews. Listen to it. Go back and watch it. Disturbing. Nick Fuentes doesn't tell you that he's going to vote for better Republicans. He just says, I'm going to vote Democrat because Republicans need to fall. Okay? Candace Owens, how many times did she say she would not go after Erica Kirk directly? Bam, she's going after Erica Kirk directly. Has been going after her, and it's going to continue going after her. It's destroying the TPUSA movement. Again, completely so biased and so much hatred in her that she is going after everything, and now has made millions of people in her audience question everything about conservatism, to where now they're all voting the exact opposite. You see, we live such a short mind. We remember when Megyn Kelly left Fox News and went to NBC, and then she does this whole whole monologue on how she supports trans kids and all this stuff. I mean, like, now she's the speaker of a conservative movement, so then when she pulls away from Trump, we're surprised, then we should go with her. All these people have never, quote, said they're truly conservative folks. All they did was they got tired of the left, the extreme left, the social left, so they all, quote unquote, moved to the right, and none of them actually moved to the right. The Joe Rogans, the Ian Carrolls, the Dave Smith, none of these people are actually conservatives. I mean, listen to them. They curse all the time. They don't represent anything of the conservative mindset. Neither does Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Nick Fuentes, or Candace Owens. We talk a lot on this channel about paying attention, about being prepared, about not just thinking everything will work itself out. That got me thinking, something that people don't think about enough is maybe their retirement. I logged into my accounts, my IRAs. Hey, the balances are up. On paper, everything looks fine. And then I start thinking, well, if everything is fine, why in the world am I overpaying for groceries, for gas, for fuel, for any and everything, insurances? Everything is up. So then I started thinking, actually, the system that I'm in, is it really benefiting me? Am I really making enough money for retirement to cover the expenses that I'm feeling? So then I asked myself, am I just trusting a system, or do I need to think past the system? So then I started thinking, am I actually protected, or am I just trusting in a system that may leave me down? I mean, this is my life savings. It's everything I work for. This is what I'm hoping to have when retirement comes. So then I started looking into, what else can we put our money in? This was a journey for me, trying to make sure that I can invest in something that is real, tangible, something that will last. And that's where I come to Augusta Precious Metals. Physical gold and physical silver, it's where it's at. And now you can utilize it in an IRA. There's no loophole, there's no fringe thing. It's literally in our tax code to where you can literally hold physical gold and silver in your IRA. So it caught my attention. Now I love holding physical gold and silver, but what about some of the money that I have in those retirement accounts that I'm worried about? Now I can maneuver it into physical gold and silver. And that's when I started doing actually some digging. That's why I come across this company called Augusta Precious Metals. They have thousands of reviews and also has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Let Augusta Precious Metals help you do what it's helping me do. Understand gold and silver and how it can benefit you in a plan, hopefully help your retirement and give you a peace of mind as you sleep every night. They focus on education. They want to make sure it's the right fit for you. Make sure this gold IRA is perfect for your situation and your retirement. They honestly made me change my perspective on retirement. Not out of fear, not out of scaredness, but out of making sure I could proactively protect my money. And gold is the answer. As you're being prepared, as you want to sleep better at night, knowing that you have some safety there, go to maxlovesgold.com or text the number below. They can help you, they can walk you through to set up a gold IRA specifically to suit your needs. Trust me, you'll get the information you need. No nonsense, no sales gimmicks, but just truth and education to say this is a right move or a wrong move. But I promise you, it's worth the conversation. Being prepared is not extreme. It's sensible and it's common sense. Check with Augusta Precious Metals today, maxlovesgold.com, or text the number below. Now, I'm not trying to just move on from this, but Tucker Carlson also talked about, there's nothing biblical about this movement. It's all it's all Israel. It's not really about Christianity. When you think about Scripture and you look at what Scripture talked about, you can take Revelation however you think you understand it. It's very complicated to understand. I've read it several times, but it talks about the building of the third temple, and it talks about how those things are going to be used in the end times. Now, if that means it's coming sooner than later, that means the end of the world could happen. I don't know. I believe in the rapture. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. So no matter what, if that takes place, that's biblical. We believe that prophecy will be fulfilled and there will be a quote-unquote building of the third temple. Is it going to happen now? I don't know. Could it happen 100 years from now? We don't know. But to say that that's all mischief and saying that's all misspeak by Tucker is a wrong approach. And I think that's where we get into the spiritual battle that's even bigger than this. I believe you're seeing truly evil, because what it's doing is all these 4 or 5 influencers has hundreds of millions of views a month, and yet they're all turning you away from conservative, Republican, traditional values. And what they're going to do is end up promoting things like liberalism, or at least some kind of libertarianism, which is not bad, but it's going to be, we'll let the Muslims do what they want to do, no matter if they destroy our cities. Let's go ahead and embrace it. Or it's going to be one of those cases, hey, well, your life is your life, my life is my life. That's kind of what Megyn Kelly was talking about, the trans situation. Like, that's not biblical at all. But what we're seeing is we're demonic forces, even in the conservative movement. And I think we're being brainwashed, and I'm scared if we don't get a hold of it, there will be no conservative traditional move, and their persecution will be on the Christians here in America. Now let's move on to something else I wanted to talk about. This story came out 2 or 3 days ago, and I read it, and I was like, there's no way this is true. But then it got picked up by a few more stories, a few more news sources. It says Meta glasses are now recording you undressing, using the restroom. It's also getting all the information, and it's sending this tech miles and miles away. It says while you're wearing your glasses thinking it's not on, everything that you do, including some of the more personal things, it is filming and resulting in getting the footage. You know, we talk about phones and cameras and TVs and all this stuff filming you. There's actually a study that shows that the Ray-Ban glasses are being used, the camera, the microphone, at all time without your privacy in mind. And what it's doing is sending that data because of what Facebook passed not too long ago about their I think it was in December, that they can collect your data to be utilized to help their AI become more smart and know you better, and using the technology that it is built upon you. You are the algorithm. It says these same assistants will be getting information from you, including the speech, text, and images and times and video footage of all the things that you see and all the things you don't think that your glasses see. Things as simple as how you get dressed or not dressed. Things about restrooms. Things about the personal things of what you're doing with other individuals. All that is being recorded without your knowledge. It says it's shown that these things are brought in and utilized against people. It says say things that you're watching on the computers you shouldn't. It says say your bank accounts and your personal information that you're using while you're on the computer or while you're on your phone, you're using these glasses. That data is being taken and utilized, and it's allowed people to get blackmailed. It says there's a warning where you actually may not own any of your privacy anymore because AI is going to know everything about you, including what they can use against you. That's a pretty scary thing. You know, me and my wife talk about it all the time. Like, for instance, we always tell, of course, our family, but ourselves, we're very conscientious about making sure our phones and smart devices are not like next to us all the time, especially when we're, having conversations about our children, or having conversations about banking, or having conversations about, things that matter. So we're very conscientious of that. We don't have a lot of the smart technology where like Alexa or all these medical glasses, all this stuff, because it's dangerous. Now, we've already been exposed to tons of digital, safeties that we've already been exposed to tons of things that probably get too much information of us. We talk about it all the time. Proves my fact, and this is something on the lighter side. But for instance, we were up at Aiden's house. We're building my son a house, and it's on my vlog channel, and I haven't filmed as much as I need to, but I'll show you updates soon. But we filmed something on in the house, and then we put our cameras down, put our phones down. And I said, instead of doing these stairs, we need to look at spiral stairs. I think the tiny homes will be better with the spiral stairs, so they don't take up much space. We talked about doors, talked about windows, talked about a few other things, and just went on about our day. Later that day, I'm on YouTube scrolling, and then I go to Amazon and have to buy something for one of my children. And lo and behold, one of the ads that came up across not only one platform but two platforms were on spiral stairs. So you think about all the stuff that they know about you that you don't want them to know. And I'm glad I got to see spiral stairs. I actually bought some. But it shows that we were just an algorithm sale. That's all we were. What about the things that you don't want your algorithm to know about you that they can use against you? Something to think about. Now, for the last thing dealing with Congress, I'm telling you, these people are worthless. You can dog out anybody, but the bottom line is your problem is Congress. I tell you this every day, I think. Listen to this. 357 members of the Congress, which I think it was 435 maybe, 357 members of Congress just voted not to release the Congressional harassment and misconduct records. These are the same people that are yelling at the President Trump and Bondi to release the other files and list. And we should. I'm not against that. We should release everything. These are the same people that don't worry about that list, but the list we're on, we can't release. It's been shown that like over $20 million. They said sometimes there's studies show 18 to $30 million have been used to hush claims of misconduct by your Congress and your Senate. So your Congress just voted, they were going to vote to expose it. Only about, 20 or 30% voted to expose it. All the rest voted to keep it quiet. All the people that voted to keep it quiet is probably because they're the ones that had to keep quiet because they're the ones on the list. So do I want to expose the other list that we've been talking about with Bill Gates and Bill Clinton? Yes, absolutely. But this is where that double standard, that political talk comes in. It says, the loudest voices screaming, release the Epstein files, are now saying, please bury the harassment files of members of Congress. That was from Nancy Mace. I don't like Nancy Mace. I think she's a grifter. But in this case, she's trying her hardest to get these released because she knows some of her her people that sit beside her are as bad as the ones that are on the list on the other files on the other situation. They're tied to the same kind of stuff. Pure evil. Nick Fuentes is right. The Republicans need to be rebuilt in a way. Where he's wrong in is he's saying, let's vote Democrat and fix all that. You're not fixing anything. You're going to end up harming the whole conservative movement, along with probably losing our country. The problem is, we have primaries. Did you know we had a primary in Texas Monday? I'm in Mississippi. We have a primary next week here in Mississippi. Nobody's hardly talked about it. Because everybody thinks, well, they're the Republicans. They have our behind there. I'm not worried about the primary. And then we skip over, and then we get mad when these same Republicans that go up there for 20, 30, 40 years keep doing the same stupid things, making themselves richer and regulating us. The problem is not we need to get rid of all Republicans. The problem is we need to get rid of the ones that we have in Washington, meaning we need to primary them. There are several people running to primary these, and yet we don't vote for them. Makes no sense. I mean, look at John Cornyn. John Cornyn is a weak, feckless senator from Texas who has done nothing but harm President Trump's agenda. However, he will end up probably winning this runoff because there's not enough people voting in Texas, and he's got enough money and power behind him that he's going to end up getting through based on politics. So the problem is not, like this, the release of the files and lists. Let's release it. Totally fine. But see, they're wanting to cover up their side of it because they don't want you to know what they've been doing behind closed doors. These are the kind of people that ruin America. The empire of America could be strong. We could be sitting on a hill. We could have revival. We could have reassurance of building back to where we once were. But we will never do it with some evil people in leadership like we have. And then on top of that, we have conservative influencers trying to dismantle what good ones we do have. And now it's all out. Just pandemonium on the right. Guys, give me your thoughts on today's video. And remember, don't listen to these people because they're literally trying to turn you away from the president. And you know what? He is not perfect, but he's our best chance right now. So we better support him. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless.